Oh, there it is.
Okay, it's 6:01. Monty, I'm going to
Patricia.
go live on YouTube. And then I'm going to mute up. But if you have any issues, I will be here. So
Thank you, Jason. Wow, live on YouTube, watched by millions. Okay, tens. Ed, did we warn you that you're going to be a star on YouTube today?
No, but I'm already a star, so I'm used to it.
Exactly.
I know what you mean.
Yes, it's hard being popular. That's
It's
hard.
so hard.
That's why I know
so
this crew.
hard.
We're gonna have fun tonight.
So Ed, welcome to the Food Entrepreneur Accelerator. Looks like we have a quorum here. As always, we usually have people arriving over the first few minutes. So what we can just go ahead and get started. So we're toward the end of our 4-week accelerator, but woven into this is our speaker series. And you are the second of our speaker series, and I'm very excited to have you here. Tonight's topic is getting your business online and sales ready. And really what we're excited about, and I'll let some of the folks in if you want to ask them what kind of projects they're working on, that's fine. But some people are in business, some people are pre-launch, some people are kind of been in business and maybe growing a little bit. So people are at all different levels, but we all know online is like it's like walking through the small town when we were kids, right? It's smelling the baked goods, it's looking at the fresh flowers, what new shoe styles are in. Online is where you see what's happening in the marketplace these days, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. So yes, so getting your business online and sales ready is your topic. Ed and I have worked together, full disclosure. We're both SBDC advisors. We work with folks in Sonoma County. And I'm real excited to have you here, Ed. I'm going to go to this next slide where you can tell us a little bit more about yourself. And then I'll turn the slides over to you so you can control, the pace.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate all of you allowing me into your space to share more about how you can leverage the online space to grow your business. Being online is really important. It used to be, kind of okay, maybe I'll get online back in the day, but now it's a requirement, and there's so many things to learn about it. Tonight, we're going to be talking a lot of different things. You're going to feel overwhelmed. That's okay. I'll break it down for you. We'll dive into that. But first, I am Ed, and I do strategic marketing advising for small business owners, coaches, consultants online. And I work at multiple SBDC centers, Sonoma, Marin, Solano, and Napa. And really, I am helping business owners every day practically with their online business piece of it, figuring out where to be, how to show up, what to talk about, and how do we make it work as an ecosystem? Because it's not just social media or our website or email, it's all of those things and more. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. There's going to be a lot of content that I'm going to throw at you. Again, take it piece by piece and really think about how you can apply just one thing to your business, because you just need to start one thing and then build on it from there. You don't have to do all the things up front. And yes, if you want to connect with me, my website there, edtroxell.com, you can easily find me on social, connect with me over there, share any posts, tag me in the comments. And then you can also sign up for my newsletter, which I'll have a QR code for you at the end. But my whole goal is to really help educate you on how you can use the online space to grow your business, and also make it easier for you and more doable so that you show up consistently with your marketing and not do the stop and go, because the stop and go is what really crushes small businesses across the board.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Ed. I'm going to stop share so you can go ahead and share your slides. I think you've been made the co-host, and then you can move them forward as you wish. And yeah, looks like we're all here. Wow, you did that fast. You're a pro. I would have needed you to chit chat for 2 minutes to cover me. That
Yep.
shows you've got your online skills down. I would have needed 2 minutes for you to distract everybody while I get my tech lined up.
Yep. No, thankfully, yeah, this is probably my fourth one today. Usually I'm on about 8 calls a day, so it becomes second nature. Pretty soon I can just think about it and it will do it. But yes, so let's dive in. If you have questions, I know we'll have them at the end, but if you have questions or comments, because you're on the Zoom, you can pop them in the chat. I like to keep an eye on the chat, and I try to weave those into my presentation as well, because at the end of the day, you don't want to just hear me talking for a whole hour. That's kind of boring, in my opinion. And yes, I will crack some jokes. They might not even be funny, but it helps lighten the mood, right? I like to make marketing fun and doable. So let's jump into how we can make this easier for you in your business. First off, what are we going to be talking about today? So really, we want to break down what online marketing looks like, what that landscape is. We want to identify the platforms that you should be thinking about, if not already using. And then I want to leave you with a clear plan of action to take the next steps. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of content that we're going to cover in a short amount of time. It's going to be overwhelming. Take your notes and just remember there's going to be a recap at the end, and you just need to implement at least one thing so that you can build from there. All right, so when we're thinking about your digital footprint, these are a couple of the main things that we want to make sure we're checking the box for. One is a website. I know it's so tempting to have Instagram be your website because it's easy for you to create an account, put content on there, put some info, and call it a day. But that is not a website. That is a third-party program that you do not have control over, even though it might feel like you do because you can change your settings. You don't. And it's not a matter of if the platform goes down, it's a matter of when they will shut your account down for whatever reason they want. And it has happened to many small businesses, including myself. So it's very, very important to have a website and social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and others that we'll talk about. So a website is your home base. Just think of it as if you were to open up a store downtown, that is your space. That's where people find all about you. Then you're going to have your social media. That's where, again, you can share your space. So you can put out information about how people can find you, where they can go, all of that, and connect with people and build a community, because your website might be over here on, Main Street that only people that are driving by are going to see. So you can use social media to help attract them over there. Then you have third-party apps such as Yelp, Google My Business, any other place that you might use specifically for your business. That would be lumped under those third-party apps. Most of them have a space for you to fill out a profile. Always make sure that you are keeping your profiles updated. That's so important. I'll probably say that several times throughout tonight. So make a list if you haven't already. You can use a spreadsheet. I don't really use spreadsheets because they're boring, but in this case you can. Use a spreadsheet, list out all of your platforms, put the URL, the website, your Instagram link, your Facebook link, your website link, whatever it is, and then put a note of when you last updated it, and then put a reminder in your calendar to check that every 3 or 6 months, because it's really important to stay up to date with all of that information, because today we don't know exactly when and where our audience is finding us. It used to be easy. They would go straight to Google, type something in, and then find us. But now they can go to Google, they can search AI, they can search on Instagram, they can search on Facebook, they can search on TikTok, and they're usually starting in one of those places, but they're not ending there. They're going to the other places to find you as well, and to see, is the information consistent across the board? So make sure you're making those notes. And then our good old email list. How many of you, drop a 1 in the live chat, drop a 1, how many of you have an email list? I'm just curious. We'll talk more about that, but I'm just curious how many of you have an email list. The importance of an email list is it's yours. It's not your followers on Instagram. Because again, you don't own Instagram. Email list, you own. You're paying for it. You're also asking people to give you their emails. You have direct connection to them. We saw this be a big issue. It still is for small businesses, but we saw this being a big issue back when COVID happened, when people had to shut their doors and they didn't have an email list. Therefore, they couldn't contact their customers to let them know, hey, we're doing online orders. Hey, you can come down and pick up here at XYZ. They had to just pray and hope that people would figure it out or find them through maybe a social media post or walking down the street and seeing that they had a booth outside. So email list is super, super important. And I don't care how small it is. You know, I have clients that come to me and they're like, well, my email list is really small. I have 100 people, or I have 10 people, or I have 1,000 people. It doesn't matter. You just need one. And then you get 2 and 3 and then so on. So have an email list.
We've got 2 people weighing in that they have email lists.
I love it. Yes.
Can you weigh in on, and this would be any online media or email list, when you're still building your business, is it effective to like let people know you're under construction or you're launching a home-based bakery in 2 months, or like, is it kind of like having the sign in the window that says coming soon?
Absolutely. The sooner, the better, especially when it comes to your email list, right? Because again, you're working hard to get that traffic. And if you get traffic to your site and all they see is under construction, when are they going to come back? How are they going to know when to come back? Right? So you can easily put up an email opt-in, we call it, where they can drop the email address in there to be notified when the site goes live, to be notified when online orders are available, right? All of these things, again, you may not get anybody signed up right off the bat. That's okay. At least you did the work and you had an option for them. That's super, super important.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. So keep these questions in mind. You don't have to tell me in the chat, but just keep these in mind is, where do your customers spend time online? What is the easiest for you to update regularly? This is where that Instagram default kicks in for a lot of small businesses. No shade to Instagram. I mean, kind of it is, but Instagram is great. But again, don't rely on it too much. And if Instagram is easy for you to update, that's okay to use that as your primary platform for posting. But you're still going to want to ask yourself question number 1. Where do my customers spend their time? Because what I see a lot of times with small business owners is that they rely on Instagram, they hate Facebook, so they only post on Instagram, and they don't get a whole lot of traction because their posts are only on Instagram and their audience is active on Facebook. So they're posting and they're not getting any traction. That's because their audience is hanging out on Facebook for whatever their business is. So they may have an account on Instagram, but they're not actively searching Instagram for that specific product or service. They're over on Facebook. So that's why I want you to make sure that you're not just going with the place that's easy for you, but also where your customers are hanging out. And then think about, what is your goal? And we'll talk more about goals. I'll give you some examples here, more examples around goals. But think about your goals before you even start doing anything. Like, don't just create content to create content because some guy or somebody told you that you should create content. Create content with a purpose. So let's start off with, what does your website say? This is a very, very simple breakdown. We want to make sure we keep it simple because websites get complicated so fast. And for most of us, we're not that tech savvy and we don't really know what to do with a website. So let's break it down. You really just need a few key points. Who you are, what do you offer, how can people get a hold of you, and then make sure it's mobile friendly. We'll take a look at an example here in a second, but make sure it's mobile friendly. Now, when we are thinking about that website, because we're talking about food businesses, we want to make sure that we have options for menus. Because chances are you have a menu, whether it's of your food for online ordering or products that you're selling, you can have a menu. Again, have your hours, your address if that's a location that you want publicly known. Put a story about who you are, why you're doing this. People are curious. We are all nosy and we want to know the story, especially behind a small business, because it makes us feel good and it's relatable when we can see, oh, there's Tina. She's the single mom who's making cookies and has this amazing bakery and also helps support the local schools with fundraisers. More likely you're going to go there and buy, at the very least check it out, compared to maybe ordering your cookies up from Amazon. Spoiler alert, I don't know if you can actually order like baked goods from Amazon. But you can see the point. Same with photos and videos. These are big. Video is a big one. We're going to talk about that. But keep it simple. Now, here is two side-by-sides just to kind of give you an idea of the left side is not mobile friendly. The right side is mobile friendly. And the reason we can tell is because on the left, it's hard to see what the content is unless we were to go on the phone and zoom in. Whereas on the right side, it is right there in our face. It's clean, we can read it, we don't have to zoom in. So you want to make sure that you not only create a website, whether it's you or somebody you hire, but you also check it on your phone. Be your own customer. What is that experience like? Is it easy to go and order? If one of your goals is to increase your orders, is it easy to access ordering from your mobile device? Because chances are desktop is fine and not a lot of people are going to be using the desktop. They're going to be using the phone. Super, super important. Now, this is the menu. Menu meaning the choices that you have for your website. So again, these are just to show you various options. There's no right or wrong on these ones. It's just to show you how you can structure your menu items. Typically, I try to keep it 5 or less. That might not always be the case, but try to keep it 5 or less. And then also make sure it's images here with these social icons, but typically on a website, you'll have your social icons. You might find them at the bottom of your website. Make sure that they link to your actual social handles. I cannot stress this enough. So many people build their websites on Wix or Squarespace or Square, not a problem, but they're using a template, which is not a problem, but they didn't go and check the social links. So when somebody clicks Instagram because they want to follow your business, well, guess what? They don't go to your Instagram. They go to Square's Instagram because by default, it is linked to the provider, not yours. So if your goal is to increase traffic to your Instagram, you better make sure your Instagram link works properly on your website. Yep. Oh, you're muted.
Some of these folks, and it seems like since a lot of software is geared toward restaurants and it's geared toward a physical location. And some of these folks might be a cottage food bakery, or they might be baking, let's say I bake on Tuesday for pickup on Thursday, or I have my bagel weekend or something, or I'm selling a frozen broth product. These are all examples from the class. How can they look at the software that's created for restaurants with a physical location and translate that to a different, parameters?
Yep. So that's where social media will definitely come in handy for those, kind of like, I'm going to say flash sales, those, last minute things, more time sensitive. But with the website, craft it however you see fit. And really that's going to come down to the language that you use, right? Is educating your viewers on your business. What's the story? What's the offer? What's the availability? And clearly put that. you can have that not only in your menu item, but you can also have a banner image, a pop-up that comes on the screen. So this one, for example, is really asking about, you can have typically an email opt-in here. So like get 10% off if you join our email list. That's always good. But you could also have one that's always comes up for Tuesday is our pickup day. So again, notify people as much as possible, especially on your website, because typically you will probably be doing that on social, fingers crossed. You will after this. But usually you're not on the website because you don't know how to update the website. So the website kind of gets left behind. It's kind of a set it and forget it, and it's outdated. And we don't want that. So do as much as possible to either learn how to do the simple updates or have somebody who can do it for you, because you want your website to stay up to date as much as possible, especially if you're having specific times for things to be picked up. Another reason why it's important for websites and also social is because when people do Google searches, you want to start showing up. And that even includes your Instagram posts now. So Google is now indexing your Instagram post. So that means that your post from Instagram could show up on Google searches. But what's also really important is that when I go to Maps and I look up a restaurant, I want to not only see the information like when they're open, but I also want to see what's their website. And I can't tell you how many small operations don't have a website. And it's frustrating because I'm like, I'm not trying to call you. Again, I'm nosy. Your buyers are, or potential buyers are doing their research before they reach out to you. I think the statistic is 99% by now that you're being researched before they reach out to you because it's accessible, right? So having your number is great, but one, that's going to put a lot of strain on your manpower because you're going to have to now answer the phone every time somebody calls asking a question. Therefore, you can't go do the other thing that you want to do. And two, now you're also cutting out a huge, in my opinion, a huge potential buyer market because why do I want to call you if I could easily just go to your website and see what you're about or what you might offer or what it looks like at your shop or things like that. Again, keep these in mind if you've been on the fence about a website or not. Yelp, typically photos from Yelp and things will show up there, which is great. But again, if anybody's used Yelp, we all know that there's a love-hate relationship with that for small businesses. And with Yelp, you're also not the only one that's being featured. Yes, I might have gone to your profile, but guess what? There's a lot of other recommendations that are happening on that page that are going to distract me to go somewhere else. So again, get a website and make sure it's put in all these different places so that you can get eyeballs directed just towards you, not your competition. Again, make sure those social links on your website are linking to the right ones. Typically, you'll have that in the footer, and once you change that, it should be okay for the rest of your website, depending on how it's built. But take a look at it, check with your web person, and make sure you get that going. All right, so let's talk about social media. There's lots of different channels out there. Here are some icons that you might recognize and might even be on. It's really overwhelming because you could be on all these channels and do really well. And you can be on all these channels and do not so well because it's a lot of work and you don't have time for that. So we're going to focus our attention and time right now just on the top 3 plus a bonus. Facebook, Instagram, definitely a good one, good ones for you to be on. We'll break these down in a second. LinkedIn, believe it or not, is a good social platform to be on. At the very least, go log in. I know you're going to have to reset your password because it's been at least 10 years since you logged in. That's okay. dust it off, reset it, clear your notifications because it's going to drive you nuts, and then update your profile. If you do nothing else, ideally you'll post over there every so often, but if you do nothing else, update your profile because you can be found over there. It is a very popular network. I have had clients who have updated their profile, don't post, and have gotten clients because they updated their profile. Because somebody was searching for what they offered, came across them, messaged them, and boom, they got a client. So keep that in mind. And then YouTube. This is going to come more into play the more we dive into this rabbit hole of content creation, but I put YouTube on there. One, I mean, we're streaming there right now, so there's that. But two, video is going to be so important in your online presence. It plays a huge role in everything you do moving forward from here. I know it's terrifying. You want to run for the hills and you probably don't want to listen any further because I dropped the word video. But I promise you, it does get easier because I started there. I didn't want to do video. I didn't want to be on camera. I did all the things to not get in front of it, but I knew I had to do it for my business in order for it to survive. That was back in 2015. We're still here. So we've been doing something right. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable on video, and it will help your business. And YouTube is going to be a great channel for you to offload some of that content for longer shelf life. All right, so we'll break down each of these platforms quickly here. Facebook, again, love it or hate it, it is still a really large network, and there's still a majority of the population who check it multiple times a day across the board from all different age levels. So you definitely want to have a presence on there. It's great for SEO, search engine optimization, being found on Google. You have free and paid opportunities on there. I highly suggest starting with free before you throw money at paid ads, because oftentimes small business owners do the paid ads and are not successful with them for a variety of different reasons, but it's typically because they jumped into the paid ads versus testing what we call organic, which is the free option. What Facebook does really well, two things I would say they do really well is they have Facebook groups. So if you're not a part of one or you don't know what these are, I highly recommend researching this. There are lots of great groups that you can get involved with, especially locally, to become a well-known influencer in your area. Be that industry expert that people get to see your face, your name, and your comments more often than not. And then events. Anytime that you're hosting an event, I highly recommend using this free option. You don't need to do the paid option, just do the free one. It will take you less than 5 minutes to put an event up. Post it. At the very least, you put that out there. And now it's going to circulate on its own organically for you. And if you've ever been on Facebook and you see so-and-so's going to this event, you might be interested in it. Anytime somebody says interested or going, Facebook takes that same event and pushes it out to more people. And you don't even have to be connected to them. It could be through other people within your network. So it's a great way for you to increase your visibility. Now, these are some suggested times. Again, these times are no secret. Spoiler alert, these are not just for you. These have been published everywhere. And so you can test these because everyone always asks, well, when's the best time to post? Well, the best time to post is when you actually are going to post, because you're so worried about when the best time to post is that you're not posting. Therefore, you're not showing up and you're not getting out there. So if that question keeps holding you back, give these times a try. You can always go on Google or ChatGPT and ask when's the best time for you to post based on your specific audience and see what it gives you. Again, it's always test and see what happens. Now, Instagram, very similar with Facebook. Obviously, Facebook owns Instagram. And again, it's really good for SEO, especially right now. They just started to get indexed by Google. So your Instagram post up until I think a month or two or so ago, you weren't able to have them show up on Google. Now they are, which is why it's important for when you create your social media post to not only post the photo or video, but to have a caption in there. The words that give context to what you just shared. Because those words are searchable. And when people are searching for XYZ, you have a chance to show up in that search. But you got to have a caption. Don't just post. It gives you a quick snapshot. So a lot of people like Instagram because it used to be easier. I mean, it still kind of is, but we used to have one photo, one button, a couple filters. Now, of course, it's complex. But it is a fairly easy one to use and fairly easy to see somebody at a glance. It also allows you to do the one-click share over to Facebook, which is nice, but I will also caution you, you still need to log into Facebook to check your notifications because you're not always going to see them on Instagram. These are also suggested times that you can try with Instagram. I can tell you for me personally, typically the 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. are good times for me and my audience. You can see that clearly that's not on this slide because that's not what CoSchedule had said. So again, test it, see what happens for you. LinkedIn, at the very least, like I said, update your profile. It is a professional network, but it's not boring and stuffy like it used to be. It used to be, you go there for a job or you are hiring. Yes, that still happens, but now there's more community conversations happening there, more personal things being shared. It's a next level of, I hate to say Facebook because I know how we all feel about Facebook, but it's a less toxic version of Facebook, if you will. So I got some head nods. So yes, it is. So check it out. And again, see who's over there. Do searches, especially if you're trying to get connected with a store or you want to get into a new market, like whatever it might be, go to LinkedIn and check to see, are they over there? Because chances are the buyer or the top level people within that organization are on LinkedIn active, not so much on Facebook or Instagram. So your chances of getting to that person increase by being on LinkedIn. Also, again, you can try the different times there as well. YouTube. This is for video. So if you're not creating video yet, because you will after tonight, this is where you can start to offload some of those videos. It's great if you're creating videos for Instagram or Facebook. Awesome. You can also post videos on LinkedIn, but keep in mind, YouTube is going to give you a longer shelf life. YouTube can be your cooking show, your product show, your QVC, whatever you want to do. You can have YouTube be that home for you where you are putting up longer content. And it's going to be easier for people to find you because they're actively going to to YouTube. They go to Google too, but going to YouTube to look for those things. They're not necessarily looking for that on Instagram. They might come across it, but they're not looking for it. And yes, you can get a increase in people who are watching as well as making purchasing decisions. So setting goals. Again, you're going to be creating a lot of content, but you want to think about the goals. Who do you want to attract? What's going to be the call to action? This is a big one that so many small businesses and entrepreneurs across the board miss, is the call to action. Don't do all the work and forget to add a call to action. And then again, what are you trying to do with this content that you're putting out there? What's the outcome that you want? These are just some examples to get the wheels spinning when we talk about goals. Increase my followers by X, sell X amount of dishes, sell X amount of product. Get specific. The more specific you are, the easier it is going to be for you to measure it and see if your efforts are paying off. Same thing with the call to action. The more specific you get, the better. Buy now and then have it link directly to the only product page. Not your website, not the store, but the actual product that you're showcasing. We want to get as specific as possible, especially if you're doing paid ads. Now, I'm not a paid ad expert, but I will give you that big tip is if you're putting money behind something, you better make sure it's going specifically to the call to action you want and not just a general, here's my website, because that's not going to really convert. These are just some of those call to action. CTA is call to action. I want you to think about post frequency. How often are you going to be posting? I'm going to hint it's going to be closer to the middle one, once a week. You might do more, you might do less, but once a week. Once a month is probably not going to cut it for you, but you know it's there. And then you can measure. All these different platforms give you analytics, so data that you can pull from. You can also use a third-party program like a scheduling tool that allows you to create one post, check a box to share it on multiple platforms, and then they'll give you data on that as well. And then I highly, highly recommend, whether you're a party of one or you have a full-on team, put in your calendar a routine marketing meeting. Simple check-in with yourself. I specifically do this every Friday. I have a Google form that I check in with myself every Friday at 4 p.m. and I go through my checklist. And I'm asking myself different things from the calls that I had, to the content I shared, to the wins that I had, to the things, opportunities that I might need to work on. I go through that and I made it a routine process because it makes me aware and it helps me stay focused because we all are going to curve off the road and we got to get back on that straight and narrow there. Here are some examples for Instagram bios. These are really, really key. You want to leverage this little space that you have to be able to give people an idea of what's going on. So you can see in this first one, they have a call to action. Find all of our recipes by clicking the link below. We know what we're going to get when we click that link. Over here, join our loyalty club. Didn't even know you had one. Awesome. I've been eating there forever, or I'm going to start eating there all the time, right? This one has our days and times, which is great. Our food truck over here, it's telling us their times and where to find them. So keep this in mind. And what's nice on Instagram, you can have 3 links now. So you could have your general website, your special orders, and then your email list. Remember, we don't really care about our followers. I mean, we do. We care about the people that are following us, the real people, but we don't care about that number of followers. Sure, it looks good on paper or on the digital screen, but it doesn't mean anything to your business unless you have direct connection with them. That's why we care about our email subscribers. We want that call to action be joining the email list so that we get more direct connection. And we're in a time right now with social where your people who are following you might not even see your content like they used to. It used to be, let's get everyone to be a follower so they see your content. But now it's all interest-based. So these platforms are pushing out your content to people that aren't following you more so than the ones that are following you, because it's all based on interest. This is a great example of how you can take one photo. Now, they didn't do this. They created this post, but I sent them a message afterwards saying, now you can turn this into a video, because they took this one photo, posted it. This is what we mean by a caption. And imagine then doing the same post, but creating a video of it. You hear the ice plop into the drink. It's a hot day out and you see this video of this ice going into, you don't even care what the drink is. It looks refreshing. It's more engaging. So think about what you've posted before as just a regular image and how you can take that and create a video out of it. We'll get into hashtags here in a little bit. Gonna go through these quick examples just to give you different ideas, but you can get crafty with your captions. These are what we call captions. You can get your photos. You can do several photos. On Instagram, we call them a carousel. You can really paint the picture, especially if you know the day's weather. Like if this was posted on a rainy day, well, that's what they're talking about. So it's relatable. And then when people see it, they're gonna, oh yeah, it is. So it gets the viewer into that mood, into that buying moment. These are some fun ones. You can do 5 new restaurants to book this month, or change it to 3 new dishes to try. 3 new things I discovered with opening my bakery. Like whatever it is, those are especially really popular right now, is getting a perspective of like, what did you discover? What are the challenges that you're going through? What are the things that are happening in your business? Because we're all nosy. For those who are in different places, such as a food truck, or your delivery schedule is going to be different, have a post that goes up daily if you needed it to. So this is where that daily might come into play for some of you. Have a post that goes up daily that lets people know. And if you really get good at this, have it be the same time every day so that you train your audience to look out for that post every day at 10 a.m. Because again, when you post, you can say in your call to action, keep an eye out for our schedule tomorrow. We release it every day at 10 a.m. So it's really helping you train yourself, but then you also are training your audience. Now, we won't go through all of these videos just for the sake of time here, but I want you to think about video and how you can bring things to life. We have this guy here who is showcasing what he's creating, right? It's getting the viewer behind the scenes and it's starting to see, oh, that's the food. Maybe I want to try that. We have this one where the owner is actually recording video of the restaurant and then realizes at the end he didn't flip the camera, so he recorded himself the whole time. So he did it on purpose, right? It's entertainment, but he's also showcasing his restaurant and what's going on. And then we have this one here where we're just showing a thank you card on a keyboard, but it's a video because the card opens. So think about different ways that you can start to incorporate video at the very bare minimum effort. Just a quick video that you can create. You can also go live. You can record video live in real time on multiple platforms here. That's also very exciting and can get a lot of attention. There's this one video where these guys were at Cold Stones and they were making their ice cream. Camera angle, you can see we're literally right there on the cold, what do we call stone? And we got to see, this is just a screenshot, but I got to see them scooping out the different ice cream. At one point they had this bright blue one and it was like, whoa. And then he's putting in the gummies and the brownies and all the different things. People will sit there and watch. We're nosy. We're curious. We want to see it. We like it. This has got our attention. There's been videos like somebody peeling an egg and had, I don't know, 1 million views, right? And they were literally, you didn't see them. You just saw the fingers peeling an egg. It was relaxing. I only watched for a second, but maybe 3. But it's, again, simple. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to give you 30 seconds to brainstorm on your own because you might have already gotten some ideas. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to brainstorm some ideas for yourself as to what you could start to create, especially if it's video. So go ahead and give yourself the pen, paper, type it, whatever you want. It's just for yourself. If you want, you can share it in the live chat, but I'm putting 30 seconds on my timer going right now. And I want you to brainstorm at least 3 ideas if you can. I usually aim for 4 to 8, but for 30 seconds, you might only get about 3. And then we'll keep this party moving.
Ed, while everyone's brainstorming, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. That was the
And if
only
you're
one.
going to
though.
go over this later, just let me know. What, do you recommend more people work with scheduling software where they can upload all their posts at once and then let the software dole it out as needed?
Great question. Yes. I know there'll be, everyone has a different opinion about it, but at the end of the day, when our time is limited and we're trying to get things done, I don't care. I want to use a
Yeah.
scheduler. I want to be able to make sure that I get the content out there. And if that's the only way I can do it, great. And then
Yeah.
also, a lot of those reports are easier to read than the ones that you might get from the actual software like Facebook or Instagram. Do what works for you. And
Sure.
a lot of you are going to have to test that out. But if you know already you're tight for time and you're trying to show up in these multiple places and you don't really want to copy and paste every time or recreate for everything, get a social media scheduling tool. It's going to save you.
Can I put in the chat some scheduling software company name?
Absolutely. Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yep, exactly.
What do you suggest?
There's different ones. So Buffer, you have Buffer. I was gonna say LastPass. That is a password manager. Gosh, I'm thinking of the Instagram one.
Buffer is one.
Buffer is one.
Yeah.
Later, thank you. Later.com.
Later.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always recommend for people to check with the programs they already have because some programs you may have, for example, I have what's called a CRM tool. It has a scheduler built into it. So I'm already paying for it. I just didn't know in that example until I went to look for it. If some of you are on Canva and you're paying for your Canva account for designing your flyers and creating things, guess what? There's a scheduling tool built into that, and it's part of the paid version. So look at tools that you're already using and ask, does it have this? And if it doesn't, then you can go to Google or use ChatGPT or your favorite AI tool and say, what's a good social media scheduling tool for me to use? If I want to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google My Business, like any of those things, type those in.
And Buffer is just buffer.com. Thank you.
Yep.
I didn't want to just keep you,
Yeah, no, it's good.
back to you, but while people are brainstorming, we could keep the conversation going.
Yep. So hashtags. Right now, we won't spend much time on this one, but just to plant the seed, Adam, the head of Instagram, came out recently and said hashtags don't really increase your reach anymore. So if you've been worried about hashtags, forget them. I don't use them. You don't have to use them. If you're going to use it, this slide is for you. It's just got some tips. Keep it simple, 3 to 5. You can have up to 30. Nobody wants that. It looks spammy. We don't want it. It's changed. It used to be a thing for us to use. Now it's more of a fun, cool thing to just have, but it's not going to help necessarily increase your reach if you have them. Again, you can use broad ones such as lunch. You can get very specific with, downtown Napa or downtown wherever. Play with it. See what happens. A lot of people still use hashtags, but again, the head of Instagram came out and said that recently it's not going to help increase your reach. So scratch that one off your list and stop worrying about hashtags. Now, when you're thinking about what to create with, these are some tools that you can use. As we talked about, Canva. CapCut is a very popular video editing platform. I will now say Instagram has Edits, which is another one very similar. And it has been one that I started using a lot more these days compared to CapCut. You can use both, test them out, see what you like, but they're really good. AnswerThePublic.com is a great website to go to if you're like, I don't know what to post about. Go over there. You get the first 3 searches every day, I believe it is, for free. Use your searches wisely, and you can get a whole list of questions around the whats, the whos, the whys, the hows, and you can pull content ideas from that. So if you're really stuck, that's a great resource. Or again, use ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or whatever your favorite AI tool is. It can help you with that. And yes, here's some more social media scheduling tools, as we mentioned later. Sprout Social, CoSchedule, Post Planner, Iconosquare. Like there's so many out there that you can test to see what works for you. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but just to point out a couple things, capture. We want you to capture your moments, even if you don't know what to do with them yet. Take photos, take video, save them on your device. You can delete them later, but we really want you to start getting into documenting your process. Document what's happening in your world. You don't have to post it yet, but document it so that later when you go to create your content, you can look back at those videos, hint, hint, video, or photos, and then say, maybe I'll use that. Maybe I'll create a post around that. Maybe I won't, and I'll delete them, and that's fine too. Really, it comes down to your phone, decent lighting, and have a selfie stick tripod. These are like 25 bucks. You got a wireless remote. No, I did not invent this. I wish I did. It'd be awesome. But these are great tools to have. This will help save you from having like weird angles and having to hold the phone all the time. It's just going to be really nice for you. And then if you need to, get a microphone. Any kind of microphone at this point will work if you need it. Also, iPhone users, sorry, Androids, I don't know how well they are, but iPhone users, you can go without a microphone for the most part, depending on the location, because they're pretty good at cutting out background noise. Same with image stability, so you don't have to worry about the shakiness and whatnot, even if you are hand-holding it. Create, tell a story, answer questions. That's a big one. Q&As, FAQs. Those are big. Start making notes of that if you haven't already. Write down, have a document that you constantly are adding questions and answers to that are related to your business, because that is gold, and that is going to help you create amazing content that is going to get more engagement because it's real. And it also saves you time because then you can use those videos, hint, hint, over on your website or put in an email that you send to people, right, who are asking similar questions. So think about that. Provide cooking tips, showcase what you have. Think about how you're connecting with people. The magic really happens in the comments, in your what we call DMs, so the private messages that you send back and forth on these different platforms, your emails, and also in reviews. I know there's some feelings around reviews and, oh, I don't want to ask for a review because I'm going to get if I get a bad one, I don't know what to do with it and I don't want a bad one. Ask for the review. At the end of the day, ask. I rather have asked and got a review, doesn't matter the outcome, good or bad or neutral, than not. I just had my carpets cleaned. They did a great job. Did they ask for a review? No, I was so disappointed. Of course, I can go and drop the review myself, but I was like, oh my gosh, you got a customer, you got me. Like, why didn't you ask for the review? Especially since I was a happy customer. Like, there was no call to action whatsoever. It would have been so simple. Remember, you can only control what you can control. So in that example, you, the business owner, can control asking or not. You can't control me, the customer, if I'm going to do it or not, but you can ask. And then that's going to help me want to do it more as the customer. Touching on email lists. Again, you should have one. If you don't, get one. Most plans you can start for free up to 500 email subscribers and then go from there. It's so, so important. Again, we've talked about this. It's your direct contact. You can have sign-up forms. You can have specials that happen. Then later on, planting the seed, you can get super in the weeds with it in a good way where you can start tagging people. You can know where they started, if they wanted a free dessert, or if they're having a birthday, and then have the system send out an email every year on their birthday. Where's that come from? Oh, Starbucks, right? Love it or hate it. They've done a really good job in that loyalty program of being able to get you in the door on your birthday. Used to be a lot bigger time window, but now they make it so that it's right on the day, right? But they get you in there. Yes.
Yeah, I love email lists. I'm on a lot of food email lists. Perfect example was earlier this year when cherries were in season.
Yeah.
I got an email from mailing list from a nearby bakery, and they were selling whole cherry pies. They had a limited number. I text my neighbors, "You guys want to split a cherry pie?" They're like, "Yeah." I didn't want to just go get a piece. I wanted to have a whole pie. I wanted to split it with them over a couple of days, have all a mode, sit in the backyard in the sun. And I wouldn't have even thought about it if they hadn't have had an email list.
Yep. I love that you shared that. And for those who are thinking, yeah, but I don't want to bug people. I don't want to send too many. So maybe I'll send it, once every 6 months or once a year. You're not bugging people. If they signed up for it, they wanted it. And if they don't want it, they're going to unsubscribe and you're going to be okay with the unsubscribe. Period. Like, do the email list, have it frequent. I like weekly. Again, depending on your business, you might do a couple times a week if you're having, a lot of schedule changes and things like that. But weekly to maybe twice a month, once a month. After that, it's kind of like, only certain businesses I think should go past once a month. For the most part, the more frequent, the better, especially if you're trying to increase your sales. Because nobody's going to remember you if you only email them once a month or once every 6 months. They're going to be like, who are you? I don't know. Get out of here. And they're going to unsubscribe. I want to touch briefly on partnerships. I want you to start thinking about, because again, this is all about your ecosystem. I want you to think about who do you know that could be a collaboration partner? Who complements your business? Where can you guys go with that conversation? Maybe somebody has a store and you're only online. Maybe you can have a booth at their store, right? Maybe you're in front of the store. Maybe you're a bakery and you also know that the restaurant up the street is a good, a perfect partner for you to be able to share baked goods. Or there's so many different ways that you can collaborate with different businesses that I don't think enough of us are talking about it. So think about who's in your area, who complements you, where you might be able to have that conversation, because it does help. And then again, it brings in more traffic to both of you, right? Because everyone's struggling, especially right now. So think about how you might be able to connect with other businesses in your area. Also see what events are coming up and check to see what's going on. These are a few ideas for you. Breweries, wineries, real estate agents, those are great partners too. Florists, bars, gas stations. There in my area, there are several gas stations that before only were gas stations. Now they have food trucks in the parking lot. Almost every single corner has one now. It is awesome. You get to see all these different food trucks. And now you're like, ooh, I want to try that one next time. Ooh, maybe I'll go to that one, right? So start to see how you might be able to partner with other people. This is just, again, a quick example of how your posts can start showing up on Google searches. Think about how you can start leveraging AI. Love it or hate it. I know it's there. It's here. We have to deal with it. Keep an eye on it. Figure out how you can use it in your business. Don't just use it to use it, but again, what's the goal? Think about what you want to create, and then maybe use AI to help fine-tune it. Maybe put your thoughts into a format that works for you, that makes you feel more comfortable. Use AI with a purpose. And the more specific you get, the better the output will be. Again, interact like you're a human, especially when you're using AI. These are no secret prompts or anything. These are just giving you an idea of, for example, write an engaging social media post about my new seasonal menu using the tone and voice of my brand. Somewhat vague, maybe a little specific because we said social media, but it's a starting place. You could say, write an engaging Instagram post for my new seasonal menu for the fall with pumpkin spice, using the tone of my brand, which it would already know, assuming that you put that information in there. So think about how you can talk to AI as if it was a human. And again, the more specific, the better. Getting close to wrapping up here. I know we're going a little over, but promoting your events. Again, use sites like Facebook events, because you're already using Facebook at some point. Eventbrite is awesome for events as well, because that's a marketplace where people go to search for events. So you should be on there. And bonus, if you use Eventbrite to create your event, there's an option to hook it up to Facebook and just hit a button and it will create a Facebook event for you. So you're killing two birds with one stone. Instagram now has a collaboration feature. So this means that I can create a post as the business owner. I could tag the appropriate people as a collaborator. If they accept it, my post automatically shows up on their profile. So it's not just a notification. They get the exact post that I created on their profile to their audience. So now we're cross-promoting each other. It's huge.
That's the Instagram collaboration feature?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the beauty. Before, if you just tag somebody, they get the notification and it's like, great, but it's on your profile only. But if you use collaboration and they accept it, it puts it in both locations. So it's a fantastic thing. And then also check with your local chamber, see what their events are, or any of your local business groups. Chances are they have an event page where you might be able to post your event or find people that you should be connecting with for those possible partnerships. As we mentioned, ask for reviews. Doesn't matter what the outcome is, ask for the review, because most people aren't going to write it anyway. But if they do, at least you asked and you got it, and you'll feel really good about having them. Now, if you get a negative review, because that's always the biggest fear, I don't want to get a negative review. Well, guess what? You can get a negative review and leverage AI to help you write the response, because that's typically the issue, right? Is that one, you get the negative review, you're feeling a certain kind of way. Do not respond right away, by the way. You're feeling a certain way and you don't know how to respond. Well, that's where you can start to leverage AI to help you respond appropriately to that review. And I always recommend giving yourself some time to settle down before you hit that post button. Because again, you're a business, you're public, you're online. Even if you were on a personal account, your personal and business are collide. Like, it is what it is. So we want to make sure that we're showing up as ourselves online. And it takes some time to kind of calm down depending on our reviews, right? So keep that in mind. Now, here's that plan we were talking about. And then we got a couple slides left and then we'll wrap up. Think about how you can break this all down. So I put it together in a simple score framework here for you. So schedule. Commit to making a time weekly for social. Figure out what that looks like with your schedule. Don't just know it, but do it. And that means that you're probably going to have to use your calendar and a notification so that it goes off every time. Create 4 to 8 content ideas. The reason I say this is because when you do, it makes the next one operate so much easier, because you're going to post a minimum of once a week with a call to action. Now, don't be going and telling everyone like, oh, Ed told me all I have to do is post once a week and my business is going to blow up. No, it's not. It's a good starting point. And remember, it's not just social. Don't put all that pressure on your one social media post. It's this ecosystem that we talked about. It's the social, it's the website, it's the email. It's all of these things coming together and making sure that we're showing up across the board with the same message and the updated information. Super important to respond to comments and messages. I know you're busy. You don't have to do it right away, but make sure you are responding to those comments, especially because the comments are public. And when people see your post and then they see comments from other people, but you don't comment back, why should they care? Why would they want to comment then? You're not giving them an incentive. By the way, every time you comment on a post, it helps boost your post, meaning it's going to be pushed out to more people.
Mm.
So commenting is good. If you can follow up with a question, even better. But hey, we'll take, thanks so much. Glad you liked the post. But the more you can do, the better. And then evaluate. Like we said, hold regular marketing meetings, even if it's just you. Because you may think that you've been posting once a week, every week for the last month, and then you go and look at your Instagram and you're like, there's only one image. That was about 6 weeks ago. Huh. Okay, great. Or, I've been sending out emails once a week, and then you go and look and you're like, well, it's been 6 months. Time goes by quick. We have to put these things in place and have a system in order for us to stay on top of it. It's not just going to magically happen. So ask yourself, like I said at the beginning, if you only can implement one item from the list today, of all the things we covered, what are you going to choose? You can write that down for yourself in your notes, put it in the chat if you want, the live chat, but make sure you are just picking that one thing, because there's a lot of things you can do, and you might be running after this to all these different places like, oh, I'm going to try ChatGPT and I'm going to ask it all these questions, and then I'm going to have this amazing marketing plan, and it's going to put out 50 pages of content, and I'm going to be overwhelmed and not know what to do with it, so I'll put it off to the side, and then I won't touch it for 6 months. It happens. It's overwhelmed. That's why I say narrow it down. What's the one thing that you want to implement and try? I love this quote because it ties directly into that video that we keep talking about. If you want to look good in front of thousands, you have to outwork thousands in front of nobody. It's so important. None of us start out amazing on camera. And spoiler alert, we don't have to have that as our ultimate goal. Just showing up on video and being consistent with that, that's more than the average person would do. And that's good enough. So just keep that in mind. And that's what I have for you guys today. So think about that. What are you going to implement? You can scan the QR code or go straight to my website at edtroxell.com, and you can get on my email list. There's the call to action. You can get that 15-minute marketing plan that I have, and then you will get my weekly emails with more tips and suggestions on how you can improve your business. And you'll see there's a whole experience to that. It's not just, here's my weekly email. You go through a welcome series, which most people don't talk about or even know what that is. Then you get my emails, and now you're going to be more directly connected to me. You see how that works? We put in a system. We create an experience. That's what we want to do, not only with our emails, but with other things in our marketing and our business. And that's what I got for you guys. I hope that was helpful. I know we kind of rushed through a little bit there, but hopefully you learned something new and are going to apply something in your business.
Thank you, Ed. I think what we can do now is have some Q&A.
Yeah.
Jason can probably turn off the live stream for our looking good in front of millions. We'll get there. And we can just kind of keep this amongst the class. But yeah, I would say just go ahead and unmute yourself. We'll leave the screen up. Don't everyone leave before we Ed's. Oh yeah, well.
Oh,
make sure everyone gets your QR code. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to put up a screen in a few minutes just to kind of go over the next few classes. But yeah, if you have any questions for Ed, just unmute yourself. If you're shy, write them in the chat. But hey, we're all here. I know this class well enough to know none of you are shy.
I could tell from the beginning. So yes, we're all friends now.
Well, then I will prime the pump if nobody's asking anything. Talk to me a little bit about the difference between engaging posts and sort of, act now, buy now, on sale. I know that if I look at Instagram and if I open up something and every post is just a picture of food, I'm like, oh, they make great food. And other people I go and it's just a picture of their menu and the prices. Like there's this disconnect when I see somebody has a picture of their shining new piece of equipment that they're making their cookies in, and one day it's a close-up of the sesame seeds on their bagels, and another post is like, like that pie thing, like cherry pies now in season, we only baked 70, order yours now. Like I see that difference between engaging and buy now, act now. Can you talk to us about how to juggle those two and how important they both are?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that is a great example of how you want to mix those in. And for some, you might not even have to call it out as a buy now. It just clearly is, this is what you should be buying. And that's where that caption comes into play, or the words that you put on top of, let's say, the actual graphic or the video clip, the words that you're actually saying. Have it more of a conversation when you're sharing your posts. The more conversation you can do, the more storytelling you can do, the easier it is going to be to sell anything, because you're not selling. You're just talking about it in a way that attracts people and gets them engaged. And this is where you can start to really leverage AI, because let's face it, we all did not get taught very much storytelling and how we can use that for our business. We're all kind of just learning that on our own, unless you've gone through programs or done trainings like I have, where that's not coming to you naturally. So this is where you can start to use AI to, again, think about what you want to share, type it up, put it into AI, and then see what it does for you when you put it into a storytelling format that's going to engage your audience, and then see what you like about that. Don't just copy and paste. Read it, edit, and then go ahead and post it. That's a big one, especially when it comes to email. We don't want bracket first name in the opening there.
Right. Thank you. Rachel has a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Ed. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed your presentation. I had a question. If you use like AI commercials to sell your product, my kids say people hate AI commercials. Um, you know, Me, I think it's a great way to do it. I mean, I don't know what's the opinion circulating about that in particular, even if they're super funny and good.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yep. So it depends. And I will say, because we are all small business owners, it's really important to understand that people want to see real people so that they get to know, like, and trust them. So if we're only seeing AI generated images or videos, especially right now, we're all kind of burnt out over that stuff, even though it's still fairly new. And so we want to make sure that we don't use it too much, because then people stop paying attention to it because they're like, oh, there's another AI video, and they don't really care. But two, it also does break a bit of that trust, because then it's like, well, if you're always doing AI, are you really somebody I want to do business with? Because I don't know you. I don't get to see you. And as small business owners, that's super, super important, especially on the local level. So
Yeah. Well,
test
this
it.
is not a local level kind of thing that I'm up to. It's just, a big old thing, maybe.
Yeah.
So
And so
what do you have to
test
say?
it. See what happens with that. Because again, if you do too much of it, it's going to turn people off, potentially. If it's pure entertainment and you're not really trying to sell something, sure, it might work. Like,
What
there's
is
some
it?
videos on TikTok that I know are completely AI generated. They're not
Right.
selling anything. They're totally just entertainment purposes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's more like they're all comedy videos that are going to sell a product. So they're all funny kind of stuff.
Yeah,
AI generated.
so it could then potentially do that. So you want to test it to see what people's reactions are and what kind of engagement you might be getting. and then give yourself, a trial period, like maybe the next 90 days, you put this out and you see what's that response in your marketing meeting.
Well, those Dorito commercials, they've got them out on, you see them all over the place. They're just like these funny Dorito commercials, something like that, just more funny stuff that that is linked to the product.
Yep. So I would just test that.
Well, okay, thanks for your opinion. I appreciate that very much.
Ed, Bia has a question. Bia is Brazilian. Oh, and that was Rachel from Zeroed, working on an energy bar, a bigger platform marketing. And then Bia's Brazilian Bites.
Nice.
Hi, thank you so much for your input today. It's awesome. I love marketing. That's one of the things I have done ages ago.
Oh.
And that makes me feel like, wow, so many things have been changing since I went to school for that. So this is awesome. I got so much from it, and I feel like really brand new to restart this marketing thing. My mailing list, right? I have a very large extended mailing list, and I still do the old school way. I heard you said you hate Excel, but that's pretty much what I have. I have about 5,000 contacts on my Excel.
Yeah.
And how can I what is your favorite platform for me to transfer that to, so that way I can start to send it to these people, say what I'm doing. I have been traveling a lot, and I have been knowing a lot of people. This is not my first business endeavors. So that's how I collect so many contacts pretty much. And these are real people that I know them. It's not just people that's oh, it's me. Most of these people I know them on a personal level.
Yeah, I would use, there's different email marketing programs out there, but I would use Kit. That's the one I use. Very popular platform, and it's very similar to all the ones out there in terms of pricing and features and all that stuff. But what Kit does really well that no other platform is doing yet is that they not only
Oh, is it just me and you just froze? Oh, we just lost Ed.
what's really good is they have a creator network. So how this is different than others is that you can actually get recommended by other email marketing people. And they don't have to be marketing. Like all of you, if you all were on Kit right now, I could recommend you, you could recommend me to people that sign up for your list.
Oh.
So it's a way to actually grow your email list without having to manually go out there and do things, right? So they do a really good job on that. And then you also can sell products and stuff through their digital products and regular products. They have an e-store on there as well. So check that out. That's my favorite one these days, and that's the one I've been using for a few years now.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great question. Who else? Anybody else? Overwhelmed, burnt out, ready for dessert? We'll skip dinner and just go straight to dessert.
Anybody, don't be shy. Then I'm gonna please, there's time for you to ask a question. We got a few more minutes. Thank you for clarifying the difference between engaging and sort of act now, or what did you call it? The CMT, call to action, CTA, call to action.
There he goes
Call to
again.
action.
Yep. Jamie, what you had a question? We'll see.
I see Rachel has her hand up.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
Go ahead. I already
No,
spoke.
I honestly, I just was
Okay.
going to express my gratitude, like a few people already have. There's so much here, but there's so much it's interesting when you worked in I worked in a whole different field. I was in higher education and I worked on social justice and diversity stuff, which is now illegal. But storytelling, so very, very important. And
Yes.
that experience that people have where there's that possibility for connection where anything could happen. So your way of talking about social media tonight really helped me see that I can pull from other experiences. And then because it's mapped out so beautifully, I feel like I know the steps now that I was sort of just muddled about before. So just appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. See, that right there, that's what we're talking about. Like being able to break things down and being able to implement things as you go, because there's a lot, right? And you just need
Yeah.
to have that breakdown so then you can keep moving forward. I appreciate that. Rachel, and then I think,
I want to go back to this call to action
Yeah.
category. So, you've listed buy it now, et cetera, et cetera. But, I look at all the people I would be competing against, and they just kind of some of them just kind of do weird stuff, like, their laundry room talking about something kind of stupid. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what people are attracted to. Maybe people like that you're in your laundry room talking about your, product or something, so,
Yep.
so I'm trying to figure out, how you incorporate videos and the call to action, besides just using words like buy now, order now, come back, buy more.
Well,
Whatever.
and keep in mind, call to action can also be, what are your thoughts on this? What flavor do you like? Like it doesn't always have to be a sale or email sign up or follow or whatnot. Like you giving them next steps, just like I put in the chat, right?
Mhm,
Anyone who wants to leave me a review, feel free to go on Google and leave me a review.
mhm.
That's the call to action, right? And in your videos, being able to be in different locations, laundry room, depending on the content, could be great. I just filmed one today. It's not one that I normally do, but I was like, you know what? This is a goofy moment. I'm just going to do it. I was walking from the grocery store back to my car and I filmed the video. I hate the angle. I don't normally have the angle coming up like that. I usually like having it higher. But I was like, this is a funny moment because I was in the grocery store in the middle of my workday, which I normally don't do, and I went down the cooking aisle, and for whatever reason, I thought that the turkey baster at the end of the aisle was a microphone, and I was like, why do they have a microphone here? Do I want a microphone? I don't need a microphone. But for whatever reason, I thought it was a microphone and I almost bought it because looked like a microphone. And so I was like, this is so dumb. But you know what? I'm going to do a video on that because I'm the tech guy, I'm the marketing guy. Like, so my audience knows, especially those who've been following me for a long time, because I used to do like a couple series of Ed in the kitchen where I'm like, this is not my world, right? But it's funny, it's entertainment, and it's just random. It's not something I'm doing all the time. So test the different locations and see what's comfortable for you as well as the content that you're sharing.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's the linking, it's the link between, buy 25 boxes of this, buy $1 million, and me just talking or somebody talking, kind of how, I guess you just do have to test that out. I guess there's programs that can kind of see the link between the sales and the
Yes. Yeah,
mhm.
exactly. Yep.
and the video itself,
Well,
or just
you'll get,
general?
yeah, usually you're not going to get like exactly that direct piece, but
Mhm,
again, that's why we don't put too much emphasis just on that one post or just that one
mhm,
channel. That's why we
mhm,
do all of these things because
mhm.
we really never know, honestly, we never really know how people find us, which is why it's important to ask, because they'll tell us sometimes,
Mhm.
oh, I found you on a
Right.
Google search, and maybe that was the only place that they searched, but we don't know like how much, again, research they did before calling us or reaching out to us. They probably
Mhm.
saw an Instagram post in their feed, did nothing, then saw maybe your post on Facebook, then saw the website because they were curious, then they reached out, right? So they go in all these
Mhm.
different places, which is again why it's important to have all these quote touch points. And
Mhm.
it used to be that you have to see something at least 7 times. I think we're at past 15 these days. But
Wow.
especially right now, the sales cycle is much longer given all the craziness in the world right now. So the things that we can control are
Mhm.
continuing to show up, continuing to deliver valuable information, keep sharing content in different locations on a consistent basis so that when they are ready to buy, they think of
Mhm.
us.
Uh, One of my other questions, I know we're just about out of time, and I
Yeah.
don't want to take the time if somebody else has a question, but I'm looking at pre-orders and pre-selling to big places like, government places or hotel
Oh,
chains
yeah.
or that kind of thing. Do you have any experience with that?
Personally, no, but this is where you're going to still want to have content, especially on social
Mm-hmm.
media, because their
Mm-hmm.
chances are they're going to want to see what
Mm-hmm.
is it, what's in action. Some places may or may not care, how big of an email list you have or how big of a following, right? Like everyone has their different requirements, but that's
Mm-hmm.
another reason why it's important to have an online presence and to be active and to showcase what you all are offering, what you do, what you're creating, what you're sharing, what people can buy, so that
Mm-hmm.
people get a sense of what's going on and what's the business is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And it also makes you more profitable if you end up, in general, anybody, if you end up wanting to sell the business, right? All these things are going
Well,
to line up with that piece
yeah,
of it.
that's the goal is to build it, sell it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So getting
Well,
that
Mhm.
email list is going to be huge.
I see.
Just-
Okay.
I'll just add too to the group, like
Yeah.
because we are a tight-knit cohort and a lot of us are here locally in Nevada County and surrounding communities, like when you do start to post to your social media,